The final league game of the season at Old Trafford brings together Manchester United and Stoke City. And as they're meeting for the 7th time this season, there's promised to be not so much a league game or an old boys reunion. But Stoke have rather spoilt that by bringing a side which has been virtually decimated by injuries and by influenza. Ritchie and Dobing went down with flu overnight, so this is a pretty unfamiliar lineup. Another familiar face missing, of course, Gordon Banks keeping goal for England tonight, so Farmer is in goal. And two youngsters in the side. George Jackson, who is 19, came on for his first game as sub against Derby in the Texaco Cup in October. This is his 8th league appearance. Tommy Walker, wearing 8, also 19. The son of Tommy Walker, who used to play for Newcastle. This is his 2nd league game. Manchester United, a rather more familiar lineup, but one or two less experienced players there, particularly, of course, Tony Young, wearing number 6. Made his league debut back in September 1970 when he came on as sub for Tony Dunn at Ipswich, but his next appearance was not until the game against Liverpool earlier this month. Today he makes his 8th appearance. So it'll be Manchester United in the white shorts who will kick off from left to right, defending the Stretford goal. Mr. Yates from Redditch is our referee. He gets the signal from his linesman that they're ready, and away we go. George Best turning it back for Tommy O'Neill. McElroy. Best again, with Young making a sprint forward. This is Ian Moore. Dunn. Bobby Charlton, and now United with 7 men forward. That's aimed for Law's head, but got away by Blore. Best, Moore, Dunn. Scarcely a Stoke player touched the ball yet. Charlton! Played 45 seconds, and I guess Manchester United must have hit about 15 passes, and it all finally comes to an end with that nod down. Bobby Charlton, a slightly lucky bounce off his chest, the defence standing back, letting him go, and that's 1-0 with now a minute and a quarter on the watch. Some unnecessary invading of the pitch by United supporters. Suddenly now finding their retreat cut off by the police, which is why there is a hold-up. They're looking for a gap to jump over the fence. They've finally been herded off in a corner, and so we'll restart. And this is very nearly the first kick of the ball that Stoke have had. 1-0 down. Marsh. Good overhead by Buchan. Walker back to Bernard. Jackson out of play. Well, if ever a side were caught cold, it was Stoke then. Law. Manchester United in these 6 previous games have not beaten Stoke this season. There have been 4 draws, and twice Stoke won by the odd goal in 3. This is Young. He's got Stepney coming out to meet him. Young. Bobby Charlton. Looked as though it was set up for his left foot, but the gap didn't open. What now? Right foot. This time Farmer saves. Walker. James and Buchan there protecting Stepney. Law's header for Best. Moore is outside him on his left. Two feints and a shot, and he tries one, and Marsh was troubled by it. Twice George Best cocked his right foot. Twice the Stoke defence braced themselves for the shot, and when it came at the third attempt, Farmer really was only able to smuggle it round. Quarter of an hour we've been playing, and very little sign that Stoke are going to be able to hold United in this form. James to Charlton, good break here. He's turned into trouble. If he'd been able to balance himself to go left, he might have got away from it. Moore to try now. Playing, looking for the 1-2, they've done it well! Three men involved in that. First time passing with great confidence. Watch how well they do it once it goes into the box from Moore. There's the first pass, the second from Law, and Moore finishing off his 5th goal of the season for Manchester United, and his 19th goal in all. 14 for Nottingham Forest before he came to Old Trafford. 2-0 now, 16 minutes gone. Law. Best moving outside him on his right. Young just ahead, Moore there, they're all wanting the ball, seeing goals to be had here. Dunn. Both full-backs have been frequently up in attack for United, very little for them to do at the other end. Moore now. Side netting, but the ominous thing for Stoke was the way he just sold two defenders with no difficulty at all. Marsh beaten by Best. Charlton forward for Moore, and he's dangerous with these breaks from the halfway line, particularly with Best to distract the defence, and he's still going. He could score here. Great save by Farmer, but what a run by Moore. The defence really didn't know whether to go for him in case he slipped it to Best, and Best simply by running was a great help there to Moore. Moore. Solid tackle by Young. And Stepney saves it with his chin and his shoulder from going for a corner. Little private display down there for the benefit of the Stretford end who respond. The referee completely unimpressed, and he's now given the corner. Taking it on a signal from his linesman. Poor Alex Stepney, after all that exertion, really thought he'd saved it. Stoke's first corner then. Eastham. Good header by Jackson, and off the line by O'Neill. Jackson got up well then. Thank you very much, says Willie Stevenson. Eastham, lovely change of direction at full James, and put out there by Tony Dunn, I think. Walker seemed to have the ball then, really looked as though it should have been his, and Tony Dunn came careering across to clear. Eastham, some very clever work on the edge of the area, beautiful dummy to beat James. Jackson with the corner played back to Pejic. Pejic has a go at 4 policemen's hats, misses them all, goal kick. Dunn to Buchan. Moore loping off, can't quite make it. Eastham. Jackson on his right, Walker just ahead of him, and Greenough just snatched away from Jackson by Stepney. It was a good save because Greenough really belted it. Bernard pushes him away. Buchan. Charlton through Bernard's legs. Moore, we're in injury time in this first half. McElroy and Best. Pejic stuck to him well then. Best tested him twice with little feints, but Pejic wasn't deceived. This is United's fourth corner. And Law's head, and that's a penalty. Magnificent save by Mike Pejic, and it'll get him booked. And it would have needed something like that to get a player booked in this game. Referee left with no alternative at all. The instruction is quite explicit about this. It is technically cheating. That was a goal all over for Manchester United from a magnificent header. Here it comes again from the corner now. The players all lining up. Best with the corner. Superb header and touched over. And that now gives Best the chance to score live now from the penalty. Sends Farmer the wrong way. No difficulty at all. 3-0 to Manchester United. George Best brings his total for the season to 26 with his second penalty of the season. And the pace of this game has slowed down so much that the two United supporters who've come on have walked on. They haven't even felt excited enough to run on. We're 2 minutes over the 45, so I think Mr. Yates will probably just restart the game and then send them in at half-time, and we shall have to wait to see whether Manchester United will declare. Yes, that's half-time. In they go at the end of 45 minutes of exhibition football, almost devoid of tackling, complete non-aggression pact between these sides, and that really suits a footballing team like Manchester United. And predictably, the goals have come from the footballers, Moore, Charlton, and from Best's penalty. Half-time then, Manchester United 3, Stoke 0. So for the second half, Stoke start with Lees, their substitute, on in place of Mike Bernard, and away we go with Stoke kicking off. 3-0 down to Manchester United. And since they knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup, they've played 11 games and scored 7 goals, 2 by Ritchie, who's not playing today, 2 by Greenoff, they were penalties, and 3 own goals by their opponents. Stevenson for Lees, the substitute. Jackson to Marsh. Curled for Greenoff's head. Steve James was up with him. Bloor, Jackson, Bloor going on ahead of him, and that's Moore back covering. Tony Young is number 6 for United. Law getting it back from Young. O'Neill up in front. This is McElroy with O'Neill going ahead. No real sting in any of those tackles. Young for Bobby Charlton. Best. And there's the cross, and what a good save by Farmer. It was hit very hard and it was going away from him. Lees. Good pass for Greenoff, but he was offside. Skeels playing it down very conveniently for Moore. Quarter of an hour of this first half gone. You could see Bobby Charlton measuring that pass, but so did Bloor. Eastham. Law keeping going. That's Stevenson. And this is Leeds. Lack of anticipation there by Stoke. 3 against 3 now. Moore, Best and Law. On for Moore, and Buchan there too. And a fine save again by Farmer. Tommy O'Neill to Young. Buchan. Young once again for McElroy. Now Moore and Best. O'Neill on Best's right. Still Best. For 1-2 and Best wriggling round for it, and he couldn't quite get there before Farmer. Charlton. McElroy turning it for Young. And a beautiful pass from Young for Best. Best trying to come out of trouble, forced to play it back. There's no way ahead for him. Stoke now organised with plenty of people in defence. Charlton and Law sneaked round them, and a fine save again from Farmer. He's earned his money this afternoon. So we've got just a little bit more than a quarter of an hour left. Green off for Jackson. Having his sleeve pulled by Buchan. McElroy to Best. Law. Best again. Young sprinting through. Best's chip. And it's come out to Charlton. Look wildly disappointed. Dunn to Charlton. Jackson. Eastham. Greenough on his left. And Greenoff's run made space for Eastham. Stepney a good save. It was good running by Greenoff to open the gap up for Eastham. Young to Charlton. Young again. Best. Moore. Marsh with Greenoff running for a return pass, but it goes to Eastham. Bloor's touch on for Walker. Now what will Walker do? Takes the ball away from the action a lot of the time. Offside against Marsh. Jody Dunn needing some attention now. Bobby Charlton having a word with Malcolm Musgrove on the touchline. And I suspect there is going to be a substitution. Yes, Bobby Charlton is going off. Alan Gowling comes on. Gowling gets it back by courtesy of Stevenson, repays the compliment by giving it to Pejic. Moore. Gowling, Best. Best shot turned over by Farmer. Farmer has had a busy afternoon and on the whole has coped very well. Martin Buchan up to try his hand with the corner. Decided on an outswinger. Not far enough out to elude the hands of Farmer. Stevenson. Bloor. Lawes waved him farewell, and that's the end of the league season for Dennis Law. Marsh, Jackson, Pejic. So 11 against 10. Rather interesting to see how many of them could get off down the tunnel one at a time before anybody really noticed. Lees to Marsh. Green off to Stevenson. Walker for Eastham. We're now in injury time in this game. Jackson. Just remind you that Stoke need 3 goals in injury time to get a point. George Best. Been off his turn. Gowling. Lees. Lees to Pejic. Walker in at the near post, but James too strong for him. We've had a minute and a quarter over time. Jackson. Stevenson. This is Marsh. Now Pejic. And that could have been a goal. It really should have been turned in by Greenough. Just started his slide a fraction too late. I think that Stepney might have taken a little sting off it to upset the timing of Greenough. Buchan put it away for the corner. Pejic. Stepney was off his line, trying to suggest that Jackson was offside. And that's the final whistle, the end of the league season at Old Trafford. A guard of honour of policemen to protect the players as the crowd swarm onto the pitch. And the end of a somewhat disappointing game, and indeed a disappointing season for Manchester United. Top of the table and 5 points clear at one time, and now reconciled to a season which will see them in the top half, but nothing very much more. So they go in today victors over Stoke City by 3 goals to 0.